Hello! Welcome to Free Will, Science, or Religion. I'm Chandler Klebs, and I'm here with Anthony Bishop, Quayd, Mitch J, Slattery, Wsdtime, and George Ortega. And we're talking a little bit more about things like starting a nonprofit and what can we do to expand the reach of our message that nobody has a free will and why it matters. So, how do we start out, guys? What's the first step?
All right, let me just briefly review, this. Basically, the idea is like, yes, we've devoted a good number of episodes to explaining why we don't have a free will. We've devoted a good number to explaining why this matters, what the implications of our belief in free will are on our behavior, and on how overcoming this belief can improve our lives personally, societally. But we haven't, devoted nearly as much time to strategies to expand our message. So, like the one strategy, the primary one we're considering today, and hopefully we'll do it for next week, also is creating a not-for-profit. Um, and so, yeah, let's get our ideas and questions and comments, about this. We're all on board in terms of what we need to do, how we're going to go about it. And then, once we have the not-for-profit established, then that'll open up more options in terms of our vehicles for expanding our message. So first of all, does anybody have any questions in terms of like, what we're doing or how we're going to go about it or?
I have a question on what would we. So, if I understand the non for profits, it's the idea behind it is to raise funds so that you can proliferate the idea. Is that roughly what
Absolutely.
that is?
It's also to create an entity to to create a membership. In other words, like that, through this organization, we'll reach out and hopefully we'll get maybe more podcast hosts, just more people working with us on both the not for profit and our various other projects.
I,
Okay.
George, if I may, I would, yeah, to support George's point, one of the reasons I'm so passionately in agreement with George on establishing this organization is because when people ask me, what is my interest in free will? What is my connection to it? As of right now, it takes me 20 minutes to explain. I have to go, well, there's this loose community of free will skeptics. They do a bunch of different things. I participate in some of the things they do. Someone will ask me, oh, this free will issue isn't important. I mean, what do you want to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And by starting this organization, it answers all of those remarks. It's I'm part of this organization. I want to educate we can work on a mission statement, but I want to work to educate the public and blah, 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 so they understand that free will is an illusion, it's incoherent. After a beginning belief, it will make the world a more compassionate place and it will lead to a change in the criminal justice system and in everyday interactions. So that's what I'd like to do in the future. And I think many of us probably are somewhere in the same boat, I would hope, that we would like to say, well, yeah, very simple. Very simply, when there's an interested party that you come across, you just go, yeah, I'm part of this organization. Maybe you even have a certain, uh, what's the term I'm looking for? Title in this organization. Like I'm the secretary of the International Free Will Refutation Organization, something like that. And, that's my role. I want to educate the public about this, as Trick would say, for the betterment of humankind. Okay? So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm totally down with the idea now because what I've realized is that while I've generally in my life had a fear of organization and stuff like that, what I realize is that there's all sorts of organizations that do awful things, but then when it comes to people of an opposing viewpoint, often they tend to be disorganized. It's sort of like, for example, you have organized religion, but atheists aren't as organized as religions are generally. You know, a group of just loose people who just kind of do things all over, are not as connected. It's harder to find them. And so I see the point about having a name, having an organizational name that we're all part of.
Yeah, the name solves all the problems. Like Mike Walsh and I are part of this secular community in New York, and I'm known amongst these people. Many of them are influential political activists. I'm known amongst them as the guy who talks about free will all the time. Some of these people many of these people agree with me and are familiar with the issue, but for them, it's just a point for them to sort of brag about their intellectual superiority.
Excuse me,
So
can
for
somebody
Yeah.
mute their mic? I hear some
Yeah, I hear
background
some. I don't know
noises.
what that is in the background.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, what's that? Where's that sound coming from?
No idea.
No idea. It's not me.
Does
Not
anybody
me.
hear a drill wherever they're at?
No, it definitely isn't me.
Yeah, me
Thinking that's
neither.
him.
That's
Do I have to go on Steam and
That's
block?
weird. Somebody, like, because it's drilling or something.
yeah, that's strange. I mean, I would do it, but I
Sounded
was
like someone
still,
had a vibrator on or something for a minute then.
yeah,
I don't I don't hear it, so it might be me. Hello? Can you guys hear me?
I think
yeah,
it's
I can
gone
hear you,
now. I don't
Wade.
know what it
We
was.
don't hear it now. Yeah.
Yeah,
So tell me it ran out of batteries.
It was something
Oh.
spinning.
yeah. Another example of our lack of free will. There, we hear a noise that distracts us all. We're totally off track now.
Yeah, pretty much.
All
Actually,
right. So
in a way, this could actually reach out to people of other cultures, of like their religions and stuff, who are interested in it as well. So that could be another way of helping others.
absolutely, Mitch. Do you want to finish your point, or
Oh, I
it's a good
forgot my
point?
point was. What was I saying? Oh, yes, in this community, I would like to tell these people, look, I'm not just some guy who talks about free all the time. I'm part of this organization. We're trying to
Yeah.
change things. If you want to be part of it, go here. That's it. You know what I mean? That sounds more professional. It sounds like we're trying to get things done, and we have a clearer goal in mind, which is something people definitely respond to.
Yeah, and here's what's important, Mitch, is if there's just one person who's doing something, or one or two or three people, you know what I mean? Then people who oppose it will just find a way to silence those people. They'll find a way to get rid of them. But if they get the idea, there's all these people, part of an organization that are promoting this, then that helps it survive what happens to certain individuals. Even if those individuals are silenced, the message continues on.
All right. So just it seems like we're in agreement that this is a good idea to do. Now we have, I guess, some questions in terms of like how we do it.
Right.
One question we have to solve is actually what we're going to name it. So, and all right, part of this is we're going to have like, I think ideally we should have seven people on our board of directors, because in order to incorporate as a not-for-profit, you have to elect a board who meet maybe two, three times a year. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this meeting can take place through Skype, and so Trix, since you're in Canada, we'd like to have you on the board,
Oh,
and
definitely.
somebody from England, hopefully David Joseph. So like so we've got three countries so far, and that's important because then we could like we can basically refer to ourselves as an international organization, and naturally we'll try to increase the membership, to other parts of the world. So then here's what we were all right. My thought was that, if we're going to appeal, because sometimes like what a not-for-profit does is that it writes fundraising proposals that it submits to foundations. For example, let's say we believed in free will, then we might want to appeal to. Are you guys hearing an echo too?
Hey,
Yes,
hey,
I
William,
am.
Yeah,
William,
kind of weird.
it's you.
Feedback from
It's
the mic.
All right.
Hello? I
Can you hear it? All right, so excellent. So, if we believed in free will, then, we might want to appeal to the Templeton Foundation, who has like devoted so far at least, I think, 5 million to defending free will, right? So like we've got a hope. Actually, I think there was a foundation that that financed a woman named Heidi. Can anybody help me with the last name? She was given like a good amount of several, maybe $500,000 to write a book refuting free will. Her last name escapes me. But basically, we'd want to, like, part of, I think, what we may want to do is to write, these organizations, with fundraising, appeals. Now, if we're going to go that route, then I think our name should be kind of like more institutional, more conventional, authoritative, whatever. And so, like, for example, like I was thinking it could be the International Free Will Refutation Organization. We're trying to debate between association and organization. For some reason, I feel organization is a bit stronger. I don't know why. But then another option that came up was the International No Free Will Organization, and that has a more colloquial feel. In other words, like if we're going to primarily crowdsource and not appeal to these, established potential funders, then that might be a way to go. So, so that's one question. Let me open that up. What do you guys think in terms of the name? And then the last thing about the name is, like, if we go with skeptics, because sometimes people refer to themselves as free will skeptics, I think the problem with skeptics is that in the vernacular and the way people talk, to be skeptical about something is, well, it may exist, may not exist,
Yeah.
Whereas, like, refutation is a much stronger word. So, okay.
I agree with you, George, on this. I mean, we could, yeah, because the word skeptic, I don't think we should apply to the name because you're right. It has a lot of connotations to it. There's a lot of different type of skeptics, right, out there. So I mean, there's people that are like epistemological skeptics that just don't believe in anything. Can't conclude anything. So yeah, we have to. I think we need to remove that word. I like the international free will refutation one better than the no free will one for the reasons that you said. The no free will one is it's good, but it's too colloquial, like you said. I think just and it's the point is the organization is about the refutation.
That's a good point.
It's about reputation and education too. So I don't know about if somehow we can inject education inject educating people on free will into the name or not, or we can just put that as part of the.
That's a good point, Trick. I'm not sure how we could do that, but that's definitely worth thinking about. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like the whole, idea of something like International Free Will Refutation Association. Something about the refutation and association because it rhymes. Maybe that's why it's cool.
All right,
I'm
but
I'm I'm concerned about the acronyms.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Oh,
acronym.
that's what I was
I
thinking.
go ahead, Mitch. Continue.
No, that's it. That's all I was saying. I was just. You
So, all
already
right.
know
So,
how I feel about it.
what is
I'm
the
cool.
acronym? So, international.
It's
Um,
IFWRA.
well, let me tell you something. AF FW is going to be difficult. Because if you're trying to pronounce it, AFWA. I don't know.
Well, we
If
don't have you. The F could stand for FW, so we're a little open
Yeah.
there.
the
So
IFWRA.
F
for
could stand. Oh, so
yeah,
international free
you can
will.
play around with acronyms. There are things you can do.
Right. Well,
Sounds like a
actually,
police
so,
organization.
like, International
Yes.
Free Will Refutation Organization, that's IFRO. That's not bad.
yeah, that's not
Who
bad.
say that again?
International Free Will Refutation Organization, that's
If
IFRO.
what was that title
Huh?
right way because I know there's many people who are listening to this, and I'm being generous when I say that, but still, just on the off chance we spend all this time trying to find a cool name, and then all of a sudden that acronym is no longer available, that'd be kind of intimidating.
Well, can
Yeah.
somebody quickly Google it? Because, I mean, it'd come out, if it's there, it's there. So,
Um, and
Google
I
what?
don't.
IFRO. And
Somebody
again,
beat me to it.
Someone beat us to
really?
Beat me to it.
it. Who beat you to it? I didn't. I'm
So
looking.
nobody's found. Well, all right, that's a good.
Wait, no, I'm not sure which. I'm sure there's an office that.
Or there's another one you could come up with. Could call it the Dummy's Guide to No Free Will and all that, and free will.
Actually, there is. All
Or
right,
has there already someone come out with that?
there is one IFRO, but it's like it's not a .com or .org. It's a .br, and that is Brazil. So like this is like Portuguese, I guess.
But George, I'm sure the acronym has been used.
I don't think you're going to find an acronym that hasn't been used. I
Huh.
think most of them are reused like 10 times by 10 different organizations. So
That's true. But for example, the WWE, the wrestling organization, as many of us probably know, they used to be called the WWF, World Wrestling Federation.
Until they
But then
got sued by the Wildlife Association and all that.
the World Wildlife Fund, right? The World
Yeah.
Wildlife Fund eventually just decided we're going to sue you. And they're a very good organization, so I guess they did that because they really wanted, they wanted to make a statement, increase their blah blah blah.
All
Yeah,
right,
so I don't.
all right. If we went with association, because Chandler suggested that, the problem with that is there's actually an International Fragrance Association, IFRA. So that seems a bit more established. That's an organization with a .org. So I think
Wait, how did you
the
find this? What is it?
IFRO. I mean IFRA. So that has again that has an actual .org organization attached to it, as opposed to a Brazilian Portuguese organization. So I think that and apparently there's a live session of, I think it's got to be a band. They've got two songs apparently. One called Murder, the other one called War. AR. That's an acronym. WAR, whatever. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if there was anything that we could kind of like make the acronym really catchy, that might also help in terms of getting the name out there.
wait, just out of curiosity, why didn't we want the W left in?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm
for
okay
for
with
linguistic
all ideas.
reasons.
Yeah, I
If
just
Oh,
if how do we pronounce that?
yeah.
I wish
Okay,
I could. Yeah, George. I mean, if we could say, hey, we're part of. We could also play around with the order. But anyway, here's the point: is there just because different entities are using this acronym doesn't mean that we don't have the right to use it as well. So I think in the future, perhaps this is beyond this discussion we're having right now.
Yeah, I
We
mean
can.
there was a organization that had ISIS as their acronym, and then this whole thing with ISIS came up, right? So then they had all these big problems, and like, oh, I'm going to change our entire organization acronym and everything because of this. But so anything
But
can happen with an acronym.
I just went to a website. It's called Wsdtime, where you can look at nonprofit organizations. I typed in IFRO and came up. So I don't know what the laws are, but perhaps there's no nonprofit with the title IFRO. Perhaps we're able to use it. I don't know yet.
I think we're safe with that. Yeah, I think I don't think there really would be a legal because like a
Uh,
lot of times titles
Yeah.
they can't be copyrighted or patented. I mean sometimes you can't call yourself like IBM or something
Unless it's
maybe. I don't know.
WWE, because they're
Yeah,
finicky.
yeah, they got that was a big deal actually too. So
right. It would be the name, not the acronym anyway. If somebody had this, already the International Free Will Reputation Organization registered, then obviously you couldn't use it. So, but not the acronym.
Excellent. All right, so it seems like we're in agreement on a name now. Again, we'll have seven of us be on the board of directors. I'll kind of like make more. Quayd, where are you? What are you in Canada?
I'm in Ohio.
Ohio. Okay. All right. Would you want to be on the board?
Yeah, sure. I would love to be involved in that way.
Excellent. All right. So I'll just like send you guys like my recommendations. next week or the week after. And now, I mean, we can go back to kind of like the structure of this organization, the mission statement and all, but I just have a suggestion. In other words, like some months ago, we were working on an app to help people basically, get that nobody has a free will. But I'm thinking, even before the app, something that would be relatively easy to do is Trick. You've got a lot of material that's not published
Can I
in
say
book
something?
form. Hold on, Will. Trick, you've got a lot of material that you haven't yet published, at least in book form on free will. I've got some stuff for my blog. Chandler, together, what I would suggest our first project be, where is like we put our name out there on a create space. We could self-publish it, a book of, it's a compilation, of members of our organization, contributing to this, this book that we, a digital edition, Kindle, whatever, and a
Hmm.
print edition that because the benefit of the book, because like in the preface and introduction, we could talk about our organization. Um, Will, first, like what were you about to say, and then maybe we can discuss whether this is a good idea.
Yeah. My thing is, you ever I know y'all trying to get y'all name out there, but here's the thing. You gotta. I think it's the way you gotta do it, because some people might not want to know about this or have a discussion about this.
Um, well,
Yeah.
I mean, Will, you are, I mean, not maybe. In other words, like the last thing that religions want is that this is, popularized. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
that's what I
right.
meant. But yeah, that's what I meant. Just like, because there are people out there that want.
But
Yeah.
actually, Will, that's actually why we should do this. You know?
Right.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no, 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 no. I'm trying. No, what I was saying is, if you're thinking one, could you make a different approach on it? Cause to
what are you
get your name.
suggesting? Can you just present it in a bit more, more specifically what we should do, or
It's kind of hard to explain because I feel like, yeah, I think we could get out there, but I'm trying to think. Should we use like all different types of methods? Like, so yeah, no, y'all use social media, but
Yeah, I
and
mean, I going off of what he said. I mean, I had already thought like making a YouTube channel. I mean, stuff like that takes money, if you, especially if you want the production value to be high. But that is important, just how it looks and how things sound.
yeah, that's what
Unfortunately,
I meant. It's sorry, that's how I meant.
and
For some
that's
reason, I
that's
couldn't get
actually
that out.
Yeah, so that's
Sorry.
actually a good reason to form the organization because, like, as individuals, as a loose connection of individuals, it's hard to get somebody to contribute to, like, for example, we might want to like
Exactly.
hire a web designer, because like my site I design and it's not really professional. I mean, Trick can help us out with the logo and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
to have a professional designer, that's one advantage of creating this organization. People
Right.
will work for the organization for free a lot of times. So yeah.
yeah,
In a way, this could revolutionize the way, like free will and no free wills, like out there for people to help them, and that it could change a lot of lives.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and in terms of publicity, we could like, for example, with 80, $100, we issue a press release. New organization founded to explain to a global public why free will, is impossible and why believing it, harms us all. That would be again, this institution just gives us options that we just haven't had so far in terms of our various projects.
Um, Another thing, I've been thinking for a long time about giving. I'm in a position where I could present a very polished speech to a group of secular people who would be willing to hear me talk about this issue.
Mitch,
And at the well,
go ahead.
hold
I'm
on,
sorry.
but
Go
at the
ahead.
end of the speech, instead of just saying "now go on your merry way," it would be much more, I think, much more useful, more progressive if I could say, "I'm part of this organization. If you want to find out more, you can support us or join us by blah 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 blah."
Mitch,
that's the goal, you know.
that is a great idea. Does anybody familiar with Heinz blog spot? I think Gregory Hines.
I'm
Gregory
not,
He
no.
Hines. Where have I
yeah,
heard that name?
Hines. I think it's Heinz
Yeah,
blogspot.
I know that one. Yes,
All right.
hindsight.
So he,
Right.
recently he posted an article about like this is his third attempt to get chosen for a TEDx talk. So Mitch, that we would be completely behind you on this. You could be our spokesman for the organization delivering these kinds of speeches. And again, naturally, if others of us want to do this, also that'd be great. But that would be an excellent vehicle.
For example, George, you've been doing this meetup for a long time, right? And interested parties go to the meetup and think, and I think it enriches their lives, whether or not they agree. I think it definitely is beneficial. But if you are part of this organization, a founding member of this organization, your lasting impression would be, okay, if you're interested, this is our website, this is our organization, you can join our member list, etc., etc. So again and again, there's various examples of how, in every way that in all our endeavors, they could be linked to this common entity that just helps interested parties. And
Absolutely.
the
I'm
more
sorry. Go ahead.
professional projects we can put them directly onto the IFRO website or whatever. And the ones that are more personal or whatever, they can just be part of like partner sites, We could have links and say these are our
Affiliates.
these affiliates, or these are the individual websites of some of our members, blah blah, da da da, and you know what I mean. But we can
Excellent.
stick to the more polished stuff on the main site.
That sounds good, guys. What do you think about this idea of like our first product being a book? Quaid, how's it sound?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Actually, I have a few questions because I know a few of you have published books, and I've been interested in publishing a book, but I want to buy some of your books to see what exactly you've said, just so I don't say anything that doesn't need to be said. But I am like right now, I'm working on an article that I hope to send to like Skeptic Magazine, if you know what that is,
Yes.
on how free will works in the punitive system, because I've done research. I'm sure a lot of you have too, on the studies that they've done about people who believe in free will and dishing out harsher punishments and things like that. So I would be interested to know how to go about trying to get some of my
You,
stuff
you, sh-
published even.
you should definitely get in touch with Greg Caruso. That's what he's interested
Okay.
in right
Right
now.
now, Quaid, just two
Yeah, he's
points.
yeah.
Uh, One point in terms of Skeptics Magazine, Michael Shermer, very
Yeah,
Yeah.
perplexingly believes in free will. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one thing you want to know.
Yeah, I know. I know that I'm fighting uphill in that way.
What
I was gonna I was gonna try to send something to Skeptical Inquirer as well. But who knows? If hopefully maybe if one of his people are reading it and it's got actual facts in it, the light bulb will go off, and who knows? I know that it's not likely, but
but
No,
wouldn't
no,
it be?
no. My second
Yeah, you
point
should do
was like my second point is that it's a great idea. And for example, Trick, I'm directing this, mainly toward you. That to myself also. In other words, we tend to like write pieces for our personal blogs, right?
Yeah,
And
mine are mine are.
hold on. Oh,
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, Trick. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
Well, just basically idea. Quaid. I mean, like, yes. I mean, we should be writing pieces for other magazines. To expand our reach. Other magazines that already have a readership. They have print versions that they mail out. That's a we absolutely need should be doing this.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Philosophy. I forget what the name of the magazine is. I bought it though. I think it's a philosophy magazine. They recently just came out with an edition on the issue of free will. So I think it's becoming more popular. Which again, if we can kind of get stuff written up to send out to those places and people are already having the conversation, it would increase the chances that people would be looking for dissenting opinions, especially magazines like Skeptic Magazine and Skeptical Inquirer and all those Discover.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do like the idea of having a collaborative book. I think it would take a little more effort than I think we I mean, it takes a lot of
recognized.
effort for that. Like the stuff on my blog, it's not up to par for book form, for example.
Trick, no, all right. I mean, wait a minute, because like, academics, all right, they have such a polished style and they write such nonsense. I mean, most of them, like, they don't get how important this is. They continually dwell on the logic. They don't get that this is an emotional and ideological challenge. So, like,
Right.
while you're right, because like it's like our Manhattan show. I mean, our Manhattan show, we have a lot of fun with it. We're live on Manhattan, and hopefully soon every week for an hour. And some formats, yeah, we may not be polished, but we're getting the message out there. But continue what you were going to say, though.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But yeah, I would say if we're gonna write a book together, like if everyone's gonna contribute to like a book, it's gonna have to be a little more polished, I think. So we have to make sure that it gets edited
Well,
and things like
polishing
that.
doesn't hurt. That's the thing. Like, we have to think kind of aesthetically. I mean, it's a harsh truth. I don't like it. Like, I don't like the fact that there's appeal to authority out there. I don't like it, but it's a truth. And you have to use it to your advantage. Like the YouTube videos who get the highest views are the ones that have higher production values, the one where the camera is better, the one where the audio equipment is better. And it's just the truth.
And you guys are right. So yes, in other words, for the book, once we're an organization, a not-for-profit, 501c, whatever, incorporated, then ideally we can appeal to somebody, let's say a student who is pursuing wants to be a book editor. So give them this opportunity. Let a person edit our
I'm an
book.
editor, by
Absolutely.
the way.
Oh,
Oh, there
dude.
we go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm a tutor, but I have to. I'm at base essentially editing. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm reading papers and weeding out all the grammatical errors and whatnot.
Well, Quayd, then would you be willing to edit the book? I mean, would you
Oh
be
yeah,
willing to take?
absolutely.
Excellent. All right, we got that done. And Trick is that knows
Yeah.
design. We've got a cover design.
Oh yeah,
Excellent.
definitely. I can help with that, and yeah, so we can do a collaborative type thing, and Mitch can write like a
I can
thing, and
do
we can.
everything.
What's that?
So I can help do everything. I am
Yeah.
very tech savvy. So
All right. Actually,
anything.
let's. I mean, shall we? Do you guys want to brainstorm this book? Because like if we have a project like this, I mean, like incorporating, or I'll take the lead. I'll find out information and all. This is all pretty much cut and dry and stuff. But this, this project, putting this book out, might give us a chance to work as a team to just like to put something together. Do you guys want to continue brainstorming? For example, the next question would be
Yeah,
what?
can I offer something for this?
Absolutely, yeah.
So in terms of organization, what we could do is think of kind of the logical argument. So set up certain arguments that lead to an overall conclusion, and then have have different people take on the projects of that argument and doing research in that area. So like if there's a sociological argument where you want to use sociological information to show how social patterns really kind of dismiss the idea that people are making individual choices but are actually making them dependent on their social circle, you could have someone take on that argument. That's one way to possibly organize it.
Quaid,
So it's
that's
pretty
good.
much to debate then, technically, then.
Yeah, well, Quaid, just extending that, here's the thing. Again, as I said before, we, on our shows, on our podcasts, in our books, we've been presenting why we don't have a free will, logic, the science, the theology, whatever. And we've been kind of like presenting why it matters to know this. But, I hope we're all realizing that, wait a minute, this is the challenge lies way beyond the logic. We have to like break the emotional ideological barriers that people have to accept this. So in other words, the reason why I'm saying this is like even within academia, you have very few attempts to do that. So in terms of like establishing um, a focus, an angle for the book, that might be what we might want to actually just write new material on. I mean, I think certainly we want to present material refuting free will because, like, that's necessary to our message. But in terms of like a book, the first book out there that addresses why people, like, for example, like the idea that people need to feel they have autonomy because like they feel that like their life would be meaningless if they didn't have it.
Well,
So
George, we're talking about a number of projects, and I think all of these can be accomplished like one at a time or even several at at once. And like I said, the more professional projects could be directly part of the website, and the ones that are looser could be under umbrella stuff.
I hear you, but
But
like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but what was I saying? I think something we really should be focused on, like right now, is I think the fees associated with nonprofits. I think we should really look into that as well.
Okay, because
Like
like
we
I
should,
see, the reason I'm not all that concerned, but you're right, Mitch, is like
yeah.
I looked into creating a not-for-profit years ago, and it's like completely doable. I mean, we separated. It probably cost us like $20 each. You know,
Okay, that's reasonable.
oh yeah.
So I'm thinking about mainly. So here's an idea of what I'm saying. I think the internet is just the way. The internet is everything. The way I find out about a lot of these issues that I'm interested in, politics and philosophy, a lot of it is directly related to the proliferation of information on the internet. And one thing I could do, for example, is that I have a base of Twitter followers at Free Willis Falls. And the way Twitter works, as you know, is that there's your Twitter handler, and there's a sort of name before the Twitter handle. Like, for example, currently it's No Free Will Network at Free Willis Falls. That could change to IFWRO at Free Willis Falls. And, with the help of Trick or myself or someone else, I could change the iconography. And all of a sudden, that base, it transforms into a much more professional organization, you know? So I'm concerned about that. Those are the kinds of things that I really want to address, those sort of issues.
I'm kind of a little
So,
confused.
Yeah, me too, bitch. I say that again. Expand on it.
Yeah,
well,
just clarify what you meant by that,
what I
because
mean is I'm thinking instead of like focusing, I mean the projects are cool, but I'm saying I think it's like one step at a time, right? Like before we talk about the projects we're going to do, I think
right,
we should talk more about the structure of like here's an idea that I want, for example. I want us to have a very strong online presence. So you're talking about a book, for example. Let's collaborate and write a book, which is cool. I'm down with it. I'm agree with it. But I'm interested in promotion and a presence on the internet. I'm saying make Twitter page for a new organization, and instead of starting from scratch, I'm even going to change what I've been using, not some personally, but really what I've been using is a vehicle to advertise our stuff anyway. That's all I've been doing with it. We could
right,
transform that into the Twitter site of the organization. Of course, we'd have to make sure we stay more professional with it, although it's pretty professional already. Um, I'm interested in creating like a new YouTube channel where we could produce original. Uh, who mentioned this? I believe Quayd. He was talking about how we should looking at like Daniel Miesler, for example. On Miesler's blog, he has these videos, and on the videos, they're really appealing. His voice is kind of soothing or whatever, and
Yeah.
he just goes through a very calm, logical, addressing of the issues. I think we should work our best to make the best content we can, like have a YouTube channel with just crystal clear, short videos that will attract
Yeah.
people when they're searching
Brilliant,
things like
brilliant,
that.
Mitch. Excellent.
So that's what I really maybe we could discuss some of that. So like,
Yeah.
And
so
again,
do you
like,
guys
and
have this idea? Like we make the organization
Yeah.
website, a professional site. We either pay money and like some kind of
Yeah, that
template
sounds
already
fun.
exists if necessary, but we make sure absolutely professional. We get a presence, we get a YouTube presence, we get a Facebook presence.
well, Mitch, you're going to be that person because, like, if you're working on, giving
Yeah,
speeches, and you have a very polished style. So basically, we got to connect you with people like, student filmmakers and stuff that want to get their work out there. They may have the skills, they don't have the material. So absolutely.
I appreciate the compliment, but it is a big. I know it is a big project though, and it takes more than one person to
right.
Yeah, I
tackle.
already have a YouTube channel myself, so I'm interested in making videos. I mean, the only problem is distance at that point. Uh, oops,
Just
sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, that
Quaid,
was
what do you mean by bit distance?
Yeah.
Because like
What do you mean by distance?
well, especially if you want more than one person on the video, or I mean, if somebody's going to film it and the other one person's going to talk, I wouldn't necessarily be useful to you because I'm here and you're there.
all right, I got to link. In other words, like, let's say we were creating a trailer for a film or something, right? You know, we could have a clip of somebody like talking from Ohio, another person talking from Canada, another talking. We can get somebody to edit this together, and as long as you're like being filmed by a professional out there,
Oh my
this is
gosh.
doable. This is
Yeah.
doable.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'd be down with that. Like I said, I already make my own videos. I'm always just trying to I bought an iPhone 6 and hoped that the quality would be better, which it is. But it's still not as good a quality as a lot of other.
Well, I've got an idea actually. Say if we can say if people from different places and countries want to record themselves, they can record themselves, get like a piece of the writing they want to say for each of the persons, the people and all that, and they use their own sort of, say if they got a HD webcam, which would be better quality with the sound and all that. They could put like their little pieces in and then give it off to the people to edit all and all that.
Yeah, in terms of like professional cameras, here's an idea that most
One
people
problem
would.
with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. One
Wait, all
problem with
right.
that. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The problem with that is the distance. The way Ant said it, the distance
No,
between
but I'm not about
everybody.
the distance. I'm on about, say, we record ourselves, the picture, like with the videos or cameras, whatever cameras, do it in different sort of, because everyone's going to have different cameras anyway with different qualities. And then, like, put it into, like, a zip file and then send it through the email to the other people.
Oh, that
And
was,
then they
yeah,
get to their end.
Oh, okay. The
exactly.
way
Then
you
have
said
one
it.
person.
Sorry, the way you said it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I don't know, like, I'm not sure whether this would work in Canada or in England, but here in the United States, many communities, this is something most people don't know about in terms of like getting really high quality camera work. Many communities have um, cable access public television stations. In other words, my show here in White Plains, I don't pay anything. I've got like somebody who controls the three cameras. These are professional video cameras. So, and the idea is like, for example, like mine is a series. They commit me to one new show a month. I was producing one a week for a while back. I'd like to get back to that eventually. But if Quaid, if you're in Ohio, you might look into that because like what they sometimes allow you to do is to create a special. So you might create a half
Yeah.
hour special for your community, but then from that special you've got the clips for the YouTube videos.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea. I'll have to look into that. I mean, I go to Wright State, and I'm sure that they have something that I could go up and ask. We have what's called the stack, which is like everything. I mean, they have everything. They have everything for podcasts and stuff. I just haven't gone there yet to ask them. Yeah, but I'll have to ask you more about that public cable thing as well, because I did not know that.
Actually, and
I went,
yeah, Quaid, if you go to Wright State, I'm sure they have state of the art video equipment. And even like, here, for example, in MNN, let's say Nick and I and Mitch wanted to go off to Central Park to do some shooting, they would actually loan us these professional cameras. So it's very cool.
Oh.
I'll also have to start looking into that then. I'll ask on Monday or Tuesday.
So George, they don't. You're not charged for.
No,
Yeah,
and you might still have that. You might have that up there in Canada too. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any community charges. In some communities, for example, like in MNN in Manhattan, they have a policy where like if you want to produce a show like a live one, you've got to take their course. Nick and Mike Laster just took it to become a producer, and then like you've got to do the camera work, but like there's actually no cost involved at all. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought you every time you did one of those public ones, you had to pay for it.
No.
I thought you were actually putting a ton of money in there. I'm like, ah.
No, and again, Trick, you might have a similar system up there. Do you guys have public access?
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm in
Canada
Quebec.
wait a minute.
definitely has public access.
Who do you have? Like, because here we have Time Warner. They like control everything. Comcast. You don't have anything up.
Well,
Who,
my problem is I'm living in Quebec, which is French speaking. So I'd have to go to Ottawa, the Ottawa side, and see if they had anything. So I don't know. But
interesting.
I know
yeah.
Tom Green got famous by doing uh, cable access stuff, and Tom Green's Canadian, so definitely have that.
Hmm.
Another
That's
thing
why.
people don't know about, if Trick, if you were ever interested, or Quaid, to have a show, you could be based in. For example, I don't live in Manhattan. I'm like 25 miles away, whatever. But if I wanted to, I mean, I may not be able to because Nick already has a show on Free Will. Sometimes they only have one show per theme, but technically, I could produce a show here in White Plains and upload it to their website and present it in Manhattan. They have those, and this is across the country. I mean, if we were more ambitious, we could present shows in Chicago and Kansas, everywhere. Because some very interestingly, and something I think maybe that might be a project again, like maybe we can begin to create higher quality videos, is to find out. See, like with cable access, for example, here in White Plains, my show is on Wednesdays and on Thursdays. The reason being is that they don't have enough material to fill their weekly time slots.
Oh
So in
wow.
other words, a lot of these stations, if you live in a different state, maybe even a different country, they would very willingly present your material so they could fill up their schedule.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that would be great. I think that's something that we should. That would be even something that sounds kind of easy to do. I mean, I don't know because I've never tried to do it before, but it seems like something that could be kind of base level to start getting stuff out there.
Oh yeah, and all right, I don't tend to be ambitious with this. That's just my thing. But Quaid, if you want to take this on, ideally you get you get guests, and you debate the issue online and stuff. You could have a lot of fun with, especially in a college, because you could probably get a lot of people who'd want to be on your show. That'd be
Oh
very
yeah, I
cool.
bet. Yeah, yeah. I will check into that.
All
Okay,
right,
so
go ahead, Mitch. I'm sorry.
I think in my mind, tell me if you agree. Your priority first, actually reading the
What, Mitch? You are
recommendation.
breaking up so
Yeah,
much.
you are breaking
Um,
Yeah.
up.
Mitch,
Uh,
go out of the call and come back
Hear a
in. We'll
lot
wait for
crackling.
you. We'll
let's
wait
just
for you.
try it now. Is that better?
That's
Yeah. What
better.
did
So,
you do?
so let's. I think the priorities should be this. First, we just establish the organization. We pay the fees. We get the name. We get the acronym. Then we
Right.
make the website. Okay, we get the website, and then we work on the site. Obviously, like I said, I'm a tech savvy person. I am willing to put a lot of time and do the website thing. And of course, I would ask you guys for your opinions all the time. I would be contributing, and whoever can help put content for
Dude,
you
you're
can.
like every other
Yeah, you're cutting out again.
syllable. Yeah,
It is.
come out of the call and come
Yep.
back in. All right.
Yeah, it's actually been doing it the whole time.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds
Mitch.
like.
All right, Mitch. As you're doing that, Quaid, I don't. Are you part of the mailing list Free Will Science and Religion, GoogleGroups.com?
I think Chandler just added me, but you'll have to ask him because I'm not sure. Did you,
Ch-
Chandler?
Yeah, I sent you an invite. I went on to groups.google.com and I sent an invite to his email address. So if you haven't seen that already, check your spam.
All
All
right,
right, I'll
excellent.
check it right now.
Because what I just found is like a PDF that describes incorporating as a not-for-profit in New York City. So I'm just about to send you guys all an email, and I just CC'd you also, Quaid, just in case you're not on the group side.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, another thing we could do for like podcasts or videos or anything like that that we do is we can create a Patreon account and
Oh yeah.
under our organization, and maybe people will donate to our organization, and we can use that funding for whatever projects we're doing.
Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, Mike Walsh suggested that a time back, but so basically, a trick, a Patreon is just for general donations. You're saying, because I thought that it was kind of crowdsourcing. I thought it was like Kickstarter, but this is like
It's
you
a
don't.
little different. Like it's for creative avenues. So if you say you had like a podcast that you did, you could say that, oh, um, uh, someone can donate like $1 every time a podcast comes on, or and then they can set a limit. For example, they could set a limit to $2 a month. So if someone does 10 podcasts in a month, they're not charged $10, they're only charged $2. But that's, yeah. So people donate so that other people put content out, basically. So podcasts or videos or things like that, or even art, for example.
Excellent, great idea, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of people actually making a living off of Patreon, so just making videos on YouTube, for example. So.
I wouldn't mind that.
Right,
Deja vu.
and actually, so like so I just checked the incorporation fee in New York State is $75. I mean, that's completely doable. $10 each, whatever.
Yeah, we
Um,
can break it all up.
yeah, and so then the other thing we got to do is, Mitch, are you on yet or?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. So like just one brief point, and then back to you because I wanted to continue saying what you're saying.
I
Um,
completely love.
Well, one of us will remind you. Hopefully, but all right. The other thing we got to do is start a bank account, under the incorporation name. And all right, I'll look into that too. I'll, figure that out.
George, anything you want, by the way, just let me know. Whatever, I'm here.
Say that again.
I'll help you with any of these.
Excellent. Okay.
This
Yep.
process. So.
Yeah, because we're going to need a mission statement. We're going to need, a few things. So okay.
Ooh, let's talk about a statement. That's a very important thing. Are we all on board? Do we all understand exactly what we want?
I think I know exactly why I'm in all this no free will stuff.
What do you want? But what would you make as a polished mission statement? I mean, obviously, it's not going to be that polished right now, but
Yeah.
if you were to brainstorm ideas, what would you say?
Well, basically, by reducing the blame and increasing the compassion, you see, I'm not a very good speaker, but we know that the blame, the shame, the guilt, and the revenge are all these bad things caused by the free will belief. And that's the thing. We definitely need a mission statement that I don't know, sums it up in a much quicker way than I can.
Okay,
Yeah, it
I'll
would be.
give you split.
You can go ahead.
So
Mitch,
Mitch,
cutting out again.
Mitch, are you on a computer or a phone or an iPad or a tablet?
is it good now? I think it's just the mic sometimes when I talk. I think that's all it is. Is this okay?
Yeah, that's okay now. So it's maybe if you're moving around too much or something that it's cutting out.
I mean, I have a mic that's connected by earpiece, but I think sometimes it just. Has this been okay? The past like 35 seconds?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
excellent.
you're probably not moving. I think you're probably making a disconnect when you're moving or something.
Okay. I'll just try to shut up. So maybe you guys.
It's cutting
See,
out
this
again.
is why I believe there's a Satan, because like every time you get to your point, it screws up.
You know what? So it won't mess up. I think that'll help. Is this better?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. So I
It'll
can't
be
tell.
better until you start making your point.
Okay. So I was thinking we could just do an adaptation of the following. So here's what's on my website currently on freewillisfalse.com. I wrote the widespread abandonment of free will belief would induce a major societal shift. It would lead to a more empathetic approach to everyday interactions and cause dramatic positive reforms in our linked systems of penal law and criminal justice. So an adaptation of that, saying that we're an organization and our goal is to, educate the community about free will, blah blah, or the lack thereof, and to create positive systems.
That's great. All right. Again, you're
Guys,
breaking up, Mitch. So let me expand on what you're saying. For
well,
example, yeah, Mitch, again,
Yeah, because I hear a
download
lot of crackling. It means
on
you're
your
breaking up
on
again.
your on your phone. Download the app. download the Skype app. You know, I've found my experience is like on iPads, on phones, just the app works a lot better than the computer does.
Yeah,
But
I'll try it. Try it.
to expand on, you know, for example, like we the mission statement will say how like free will belief negatively impacts our criminal justice system, our, you know, our system of equitable distribution of resources. I'm talking about poverty, the rich blaming the poor for being poor globally. So
Right.
basically, like, you know, in the mission statement, we delineate the harm, you know, and then like as part of the structure of the website, you know, we could devote a page, you know, to each of these major global, you know, harms that the belief in free will causes. You know, so the mission statement could be like the basis of like, you know, kinds of information that we can present on other pages.
But it's hard to educate. That's like his goal
Say that again.
is the goal of this organization to educate.
Yeah, it's still breaking up.
But he's saying the goal is to educate, I think. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think we could have like a mission statement that's just like one sentence, and then we can have the expanded mission statement, basically, that kind of explains more detail of the mission statement itself. So we can just generalize it, you know, for people who want a quick mission statement, which you should have, and then you should have the more expanded thing that goes into all the detail that you're talking about, George.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Because actually, you know, they want a statement, a paragraph. Yeah. Part of it is part of the incorporation things, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really important because people generally have short attention spans. It's always good
Mm-hmm.
to have things said as simply and short as possible. You know, one or two sentences or, you know, small paragraphs. You know how images on Facebook, memes and stuff that say stuff real short tend to be more popular, as well as
Yeah.
the really short videos on YouTube tend to get watched a lot more because people get intimidated when they see something's like 2 hours long.
Right. And again, that's
Yeah.
the value of this not-for-profit organization. You know, we can then actively recruit, you know, these film students that they've got the skills, but they need the subject matter.
You guys see what I typed in the Skype instant
Yeah.
messaging here?
Yeah,
Oh
I see
no,
it.
actually, let me see.
Yeah, I see what he said. Maybe one of us should read what it says here since Mitch's audio is cutting out so bad.
Go
Chandler,
ahead.
you're elected.
All right.
All right, I can do that. Okay, for example, we are a network of free will skeptics who work together to inform the public that free will is bogus, and the recognition of this truth of reality is an important step in the formation of a more honest, rational, and compassionate global society.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, we'll have to
That
tweak
needs to
some of that.
be amended. That's the website. So we need to make that more professional. But that's
yeah,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
yeah.
We like the
And it should.
bogus word. I don't think, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we could change that around a little bit.
And it
Yeah,
should be like
because
an
yeah.
answer to the like, what is our mission? Our mission is this. Our mission is to promote. Our mission is to convert. Our mission is to, like, some active verb or whatever that
Educate would
answers
be the
the.
best one, I think.
Right.
But
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah, our mission is to educate the general public on blah blah blah.
yeah,
We can incorporate elements of this.
that's what the atheist experience does. They have a nonprofit organization that says that they're out to educate people on atheism, basically. So it's the same
Yeah.
type of thing.
I just meant it like it should be an answer to the what is your mission? Our mission is this thing,
Right.
so forth.
All right, so Mitch, can you think of other areas about the not-for-profit we need to talk about now, or have we basically
I'm
covered?
cutting out too much, so I think we should focus on other people for the remainder of this
All right, and again, hopefully
discussion.
next time, you know, download the app. You know, you'll find I think it works much better. You could probably do this while we're waiting. It takes, you know, a minute to download it, you
Depends
know,
on
on
how
your
fast
phone.
your internet is.
So, Quayd, I wanted to ask you is like, because like, you know, we can brainstorm again. Like, let's in terms of the project, did you mention to us recently that you're planning to write a novel about, you know, that explains this? Because like, you know, that is powerful.
Yes,
We're
yeah, I will. I'm working on it. I just joined a group. I'm I'm in the master's program where I stay right now, but I just joined a lot of us are we're all rhetoricians and we're in the composition field, so we're actually in like the nonfiction section, but a lot of us are fiction writers. So we're getting together this summer so we can do our work, and I am specifically working on my book with them in order to get some feedback and get it together and compiled. So hopefully by the end of the summer I'll have enough content to put out there.
All right, here's what I would recommend. While you're working on the novel, I mean, just at least think about it. You might also want to work on, basically putting it together in terms of a screenplay. Because like not only would it be a great novel, you might actually be able to like sell, the rights to the book, to the idea, to actually have a film be made of it. Because
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
like,
I
go
was
ahead.
I was hoping somebody else would take So I know that I don't know if J.K. Rowling's wrote her screenplay for her books, but she did write them and then they got adapted into a movie. I mean, the plan was hopefully that it would turn into something like that, but I don't know if I would be the most apt person to write a screenplay because I've never actually done it before.
All right, so that could be part of one of the projects of the organization. So like connect you with someone who is already a professional screenwriter. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So let me think. So all right, the again with the articles of incorporation, the bank account, board of directors, the website. We'll start putting this together in more detail. And again, I hope that Trick. What do you think about the idea of, again, for you, for me, for those of us who ordinarily like write for blogs, and this is maybe even before the book, because maybe this can be incorporated into the book, that we begin to like compile a list of, and actually I think I already have a list. I could send it to you guys, that I did a couple of years ago, a list of potential magazines. And actually, it's a very short list because I think it's basically print magazines, where there's probably a lot more online, where to expand our reach, to let's say an online magazine like Huffington Post, something like that. We could get published not just in our blogs, but in established media already. Trick, what? Because I'm directing it mainly to you, because you're the one, I think, of us all that creates the most content, in terms of articles.
Did he step away?
Trick.
Hey, Trick, are you
Oh,
there?
I'm sorry. I was on mute and I didn't realize it. I'm here talking away. Yeah, so
Happens to me all the time.
no, it's because there was noises in here, so I had to put myself on mute. But yeah, so I create about an article every 2 weeks. So that's not that much, but I used to do
A lot more than
every
we
week.
do.
Yeah, so it's on the free will topic. But yeah, these are quicker articles too, so they're more blogs than articles. So
And that's important, because a lot of times these, like, for example, writing something for the New Yorker or something
yeah,
like that, they have word limits. You can't sometimes be
yeah.
that lengthy, so that's good.
But if you can get in there, that's the trick. Like, there's a lot of requirements to get yourself published in a legit magazine
And
compared to a
you
blog.
want to know something, you want to know something, yes. So like, let's say we could actually orchestrate this. In other words, like, we wouldn't say that we're part of this organization perhaps, but let's say about 5 or 10 of us create a piece, and over the course of a couple of months we submit it to the same magazine like the New Yorker or Huffington Post. Then who's ever reviewing these articles saying, whoa, well, there's a trend going on here, and they may not select ours, but they may get somebody who to write
Yeah.
their own piece.
The problem is a lot of these places don't even accept like unsolicited uh, things sent to them, right? So you you sometimes even need like an agent and things like that. So it's complicated.
You're
But
right. You're right.
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to put on the list. I mean, compile that list of magazines, and it's always worth a shot, right? To get an article in there and then promote our organization name as well. So
Right. But even like before that, I think, as a first project, I really, like the idea of this compilation because, like, it's on Kindle. We'll issue it, CreateSpace, Amazon.com, whatever. And it's not, tricky. Tricky said kind of like it's difficult to put together. What did you mean like that? Because like in
Well,
terms of like,
just
go
like
ahead.
you have. Well, I think we should have each, like, me, you, maybe Mitch, maybe Mike, maybe Chandler, like write a certain section of the book, right? And
Yeah,
then
and Quaid, yeah.
we got to compile it in a way where it all makes sense together and everything, you know. So
Well,
it's,
that's Quaid's job, right? Did
yeah,
you? I mean,
yeah.
Quaid, is that part of the editing job that you do as an editor? Or?
Compiling?
Well, just like in other words, like, do you kind of like look over the material and kind of like organize it into different sections and all? Is that
Yeah,
part of the editing?
yeah.
Okay,
That is what I do. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So like, he could lead us in this, but we can put it together. Okay.
But we can kind of, yeah, we could do this, but we could kind of we kind of have to lay out, I think, some kind of order, or some kind of thing where we're not kind of repeating the same stuff. So if you wrote something and I wrote something, they're not just identical to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
So
well,
absolutely.
the cool idea about us doing a book together is that each person only has to write one, two, maybe 3 pages, about why they are promoting the free will is an illusion, why it's an illusion, maybe how they came to see it, something like that. And so each person, it's not like each person has to do a whole lot of writing. Just like, Trick, for example, could take the very best material of what he already has, even, for example. And we could
And
even include, like, the mission statement. Once we have our mission statement for our organization, that could be included near the beginning of the book.
And yes, excellent point, Chandler. And for example, since we've all, I think, self-published, I don't know about Trick if you're in contract with anyone, but like basically, we could even take materials, chapters from the books we've already published for this compilation. I mean, academics do that all the time.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
so yeah, yeah. Um, so I'm not sure the best way to do this. Yeah, but I guess let's worry about getting our organization established first, and
Yeah,
then
and
and then
and
we
I'm
can figure
I'm
out the
I'm good
details
at
of that.
I'm good at this organizational part of the book, just like in terms of like what the theme should be, and also like yeah, I can present some ideas. We can discuss it.
Yeah, I think we'd have to make some kind of layout or something like that where we can kind
Exactly,
of work
exactly.
with that.
An outline and all, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
What's our list of priorities? What are we doing first?
All right. Next week we're going to continue this again, and hopefully maybe like bring a few more people that haven't joined us. And then like I will in the meantime, you know, begin the process of incorporation, whatever putting together the material. That's that. Then I'll also look into creating the bank account. The bank account will come after we get our articles of incorporation. I'm not really sure how long that takes. It might take as much as 6 months. So that might be on hold for a while in terms of how soon we can conduct business. But so my suggestion would be while I'm doing this, you Mitch, you can work on the mission statement. Um, and in the meantime, maybe next Sunday, maybe we can maybe like talk about some things we haven't talked about yet about the not-for-profit, but maybe we can talk in more detail about the structure of the book, what the themes would be. Just
Hmm.
put that together as a group.
So, George, how long is the process to get organization?
Yeah, say it again, Mitch.
How long would it process just to get the organization? Just to
Okay,
actually.
I'm not sure. I could Google it and probably find an answer pretty soon, but I'm guessing ballpark 6 months. I don't think it'd take all that long.
Oh, it takes that long though.
Say it again.
It takes that long.
I'm guessing. I may be wrong. It may be 3 months. I don't know, because yeah, they have to like you have to
Yeah,
file it and a lot of
yeah. I think it's gonna at least take that long.
which is fine because then
Which
like
good.
so. we'll work on the book, and as soon as we get incorporated, then we launch the book.
Yeah, we can work out the details and everything, and while it's being incorporated and stuff. So
Okay, now here's the thing. Now, Mitch suggested, I think, he had a good point on this, that we don't publish this podcast until we are incorporated, because like we don't want anybody stealing our name.
oh,
Plus, this has been very personal to us. It's very. I don't even know if we could publish that. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, in the future, yeah.
Yeah,
Right, I think I agree with what you said.
yeah. I've held back. I haven't published any episodes recently because we've been talking about this not for profit organization and our plans and stuff. But I'm still keeping them to upload as soon as you guys say it's okay.
Exactly. So, like, in keeping with that, maybe we've talked business enough. If you guys want to devote maybe half an hour to just like a theme podcast, I mean, anybody have a suggestion? I would suggest, we might want to focus on like, you know, not the logic of what we have to say to get people to understand all this, but the emotions and the ideology. How to reach
So
people.
you'd like to just
Bitch, you're
back.
totally cutting out. We can't understand a word you're saying.
Yeah, guys.
I because I have audio issues, which I will try to remedy by the
Yeah.
next time. You guys can go
Download
on.
the app. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think I'm actually done for tonight because I really need to go to bed soon. So yeah, hopefully by next time that we do podcasts, Mitch will have sorted out his audio troubles in one way or another.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
point, Chandler. We've been here an hour and almost an hour and a half already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all good. We can do a podcast
Yeah,
next time.
I got work to do too. So
yeah. Okay, so should I just sort of close out the episode then?
Sure.
Sure.
All right. Okay, you've been listening to Free Will, Science, and Religion, and the co hosts have been talking about plans for organizing and getting the no free will message promoted even further. We've had a lot of great ideas about starting a not for profit organization, getting a professional website, collaborating on a book, and I'm sure we'll continue to think of many more great ideas, and whatever works, works. So, thank you for listening, and goodbye.